Welcome one and all, I'm Decoy. Today I'm going to teach you how to build a super easy XP farm. This is great for beginners. And the bonus to this is that you're not going to have to waste any of your skills on something that you don't really want to buy into. You will, however, need to buy some supplies. And I've got a full shopping list for you down in the video description. Be sure to check that out. Now, after you've got all the supplies you need, it's time to head out. The place I chose to build is a little bit of a trek from Alpha Centauri. But if we look way up here to the right, there's this place called Murfred. Or at least I think that's how it's pronounced. I might be wrong. It seems correct. Now in here, really we've got two options. If you want to set up an aluminum iron mine, this is the place you're going to want to go to. If you only care about XP, head over here and look for nickel and cobalt. Now I'm going to start over here, but if you go for nickel and cobalt, your build is pretty much exactly the same, so you can still follow along and do the exact same thing there that I'm doing over here. Now you just need to find a nice landing spot on the planet that has the resources you're looking for and head on down there. Now that you're on the planet, you're going to want to pull out your scanner. Look at the bottom of the screen. There's a button for Outpost. You're going to hit that. It'll pull out your Outpost beacon. And then if you look in the top left of the screen, it shows all the resources that are currently within your build zone. And you can totally run around the world with this thing, and it'll help you find resources and make your life a whole lot simpler. Now after you've placed this down, there's an option to toggle your view if you look at the bottom of your screen. And that'll give you an overhead view so you can move around your build zone with your different extractors and see what you got to work with. Now if you are struggling with getting aluminum and iron, I have a video that could help you out. And that video will help you find the sweet spot where your aluminum biome and your iron biome meet. Because there are spots on the planet where there's resources it's not telling you about. Now once you've got a spot to build, you're going to go around, find out where your resources are at, and just start dropping all the extractors that you have to drop. I did roughly 20 of each extractor. So now that you've got all of your extractors thrown down, our next really key thing is to power them. So we're going to throw down some solar arrays. You know, got to rock them solar panels. Now depending on what planet you're on, you may be better off going with wind turbines, but if you're building where I'm at, solar is just fine. So slap all those down. Now if you look at the item, you see I get an option to move it, or if I hold the button, I get additional options. So what I want to do is I want to start wiring things. Now you can wire a panel directly to your extractor, but what I suggest doing first is chain all of your solar panels together. Just create a nice long line of everything being powered. It will feed all the power through that line out to whatever. It doesn't have to be one line to one thing, one line to one thing. You can chain it all together, and it's going to look great. Now that you've got those all chained together, it's time to power your extractors. Two different ways of doing this. You could run individual lines out to every extractor, but that kind of sucks. Much more efficient method is to look at your extractor. It'll give you an option to wire it, just like we did with the solar panels. Super efficient. Definitely the way to go. Another thing you're going to want to get built early on is the landing pad. This large one is definitely preferable to the small one. After the landing pad, what you're going to want to get built is a bunch of solid storage containers. Now, with what I gave you in the shopping list, it's going to give you enough to build 60 of these. We're going to do 30 of them for one resource and 30 for the other resource. And we're going to keep them separate. So now that you have all your storage containers together, you might as well go ahead and attach your extractors to one of the storage containers. Now it is fairly important that you pick the same storage container to link them to. Now if you're not seeing the option to link a extractor to a storage container, it is at the bottom of the screen. It will tell you create Outpost link. So press that button. It should be pretty simple and straightforward. Alright, so just keep doing this. It's going to take you a minute. Now that you've got everything attached to one of the storage containers, now we have to go through another last little tedious bit of chaining all of the storage containers together. And yeah, it's a whole process, but it's worth it in the end, alright? Because once you're done with this, you're done with it, you move on with your life. So now that you got that built, you can go ahead and build a transfer container. Now this is going to allow you to easily transfer things onto your ship and make your life a little bit easier. And depending on the size of your ship, maybe you don't have to walk around massively over encumbered. But now let's kind of hop over to the nickel cobalt base. For those of you who are already there, awesome. For those of you who still need to build there, just know that we're going to head over there and you're going to have to rebuild basically everything you just did at the first base over here. But the base you just built, hey, guess what it makes? It makes everything you need to build storage containers. So it can make your life a little bit easier. But yeah, there's a whole lot to this. But anyways, onto the nickel cobalt. Go ahead, do everything that we've already done at the previous base here. Once you've done that, our next step is there's only like a couple more things that we really need to build. Now, to be fair, when you look at this base, you're going to notice a few things that are different. One, of course, is there's a small landing pad here because there's this weird blocked off area in the center of my build area where it wouldn't let me build. I could only fit the small landing pad. It was super annoying. There's also a watchtower just because, hey, I just want to see what it looked like. Overall, not impressed. And then I built a couple habs down here. Now, while this is not a requirement, I figure if we're going to be hanging out here a while, I might as well do something with this place. And, you know, put a few of my companions to work. So I built a little spot to kick some companions off to. Now, I mean, yeah, I may have went overboard. You do not need to do this, alright? I'm just crazy. What you do need is you're going to need an industrial workbench. And then beyond that, you can build a chair, which is what a lot of YouTubers tell you to do, and that is not the correct answer. What you need to build is a bed. That is the key to victory here. I don't know why people keep overlooking the bed. Alright, nap time is important, and you will appreciate nap time. Trust me. So if we look out the window over here, we can see all those storage containers. There's a few of them that have filled up, but most of them are empty. Now, why building nickel and cobalt here was awesome and great for farming XP is because when we go over here and we sleep in the bed, pay attention to what the UT time is on the right. So, 24 hours of me resting is well over 100 hours of game time, which means those storage containers are going to fill a lot faster. Because we walk out here, we look, all of them are full. We are pretty much good to go. So now our next step is to walk over to the industrial workbench, kick this guy off of it because he's running the moment. Now, once we're in here, we're going to scroll down and we're going to start building these magnets. Now, this is way easier on PC than it is on Xbox, but either way, you're just going to start crafting a ton of these. And because you slept in a bed, you're getting extra XP. Now, this is pretty much one of the easiest methods for getting a ton of XP early on. If you have any questions, feel free to hop down in the comments and ask, and maybe check out some of my other Starfield content. That's going to wrap this one up. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please remember to like, sub, and share. Later.